Jake Thomas had never been the sentimental type. He fixed cars for a living, got his hands dirty, turned wrenches, replaced engines. He knew how machines worked, and when they didn't, he knew how to let them go. For over 10 years, there had been an old rust bucket of a car sitting quietly in the back corner of his garage. Its body was scratched, the paint faded to a dull gray, tires flat, windshield cracked. It didn't even have license plates anymore. It had become nothing more than a parts donor. Jake had used it over the years, stripping away bits of wiring, old switches, and rare bolts whenever he needed to patch up something else. He never thought twice about it. It was just there, forgotten. But now, things were changing. Jake was planning to sell his garage, retire early, maybe buy a cabin somewhere quiet with his wife Maya. That meant clearing out everything, including the skeleton of the old car. It was the last thing taking up space. One evening, as they stood in the garage, staring at the car, Maya said, "Why don't you just post it online? Someone might want it, maybe even for free. Just ask them to pick it up." Jake shrugged. "Nobody's going to want that pile of junk." "Try anyway," she said. "What do you have to lose?" So he did. Jake took a few photos with his phone, nothing fancy, just the front, the side, and the rusted back seat, and posted it on an old online car forum with a short caption, "Free to whoever can tow it away. No engine, no battery, no promises." Then he closed the garage and went inside to make coffee. 15 minutes later, his phone buzzed. Then again, and again. Then it practically exploded. He had dozens of messages, people from nearby cities, some from out of state, all asking the same thing. "Is it still available? Can I come today? What's your address?" One person even offered to pay. "I'll give you $600 if you hold it for me," the message read. Jake raised an eyebrow. "600? For that car?" He refreshed the page. Another offer came in, $1,000, then $2,500. By the end of the afternoon, bids had risen to over $30,000. Jake sat in stunned silence. He wasn't even sure what was happening. Was it a prank? He replied to a few people, asking what made the car so valuable. Most of them ignored the question. A few replied vaguely, "It's rare. You wouldn't understand. There's a reason." One person offered him $500 just to reveal the car's VIN number. Another said he'd drive across the country and double any offer made. But there was one message that stood out. Simple, calm. "I can explain why it's valuable, but I'd rather tell you in person. I'm not far. Can we meet?" Jake hesitated. Maya said, "Just meet him. It might help make sense of all this." So Jake agreed. They arranged to meet that evening. The man said he'd be there at 7 sharp, and he was. The car pulled up on time, a black sedan. The man who stepped out wore dark sunglasses, even though the sun was already dipping below the horizon. He had a clean suit, careful posture, and an expression that gave away nothing. Jake opened the garage. The two stood before the rusting car in silence. The man walked slowly around the vehicle. He didn't touch anything, didn't take photos, just observed. Finally, he turned to Jake and asked one quiet question. "Did you ever open the back seat or check inside the doors?" Jake shook his head. "It's just an old car. I used it for parts. Nothing special about it." The man nodded almost respectfully. "This isn't just an old car," he said. "It's a lost prototype. Only 4 of these were ever made. 3 were destroyed in a fire at the manufacturing plant. This is the last one left." Jake frowned. "A prototype? Of what?" The man reached into his coat and pulled out a folded photo. He handed it to Jake. It showed the same car, only cleaner, shiny, new, parked on a factory floor. The logo on the hood wasn't one Jake recognized. "This was built in the 1980s, the man said, by a private engineering firm under contract with the government. They were developing a revolutionary engine system, hydrogen-based, capable of crossing the country on a single tank. That engine never saw the light of day. The company went bankrupt. The project was buried." Jake blinked. "Then why is this car worth 30 grand? The man's voice lowered. "Because inside the dashboard of this car is a microchip. a chip that contains all the engine schematics, every test, every detail. That chip, if intact, is priceless to collectors, to energy companies, even governments. They've been searching for it for years. Jake took a step back, staring at the rusted shell like it had transformed before his eyes. I had no idea. I almost gave it away for free. The man nodded. You're lucky someone didn't steal it first. I suggest you don't keep it here too long. Someone will come looking. Jake looked the man in the eyes. Are you with the government? The man gave a tight smile. Let's just say, I work with people who care about this car. He handed Jake a business card with nothing on it but a number. If you decide to sell, call me. But be careful. Not everyone who wants this car plays by the rules. He walked back to the sedan, stepped inside, and disappeared into the night. Jake stood frozen. The garage felt colder now, quieter. He walked back inside, hands trembling. That night, he told Maya everything. They sat at the kitchen table, sipping cold coffee, reading every article they could find. The story checked out. There had been a small company in the 80s developing secret engine tech. The fire, the bankruptcy, rumors of one missing car, unconfirmed. Until now. Jake kept the garage locked from that night on. For days he received offers from unknown names, strangers with blocked numbers, people willing to pay in cash. He didn't answer. Eventually he contacted a collector overseas, someone highly recommended, discreet, and wealthy. A week later, the car was shipped in a covered container. Jake never told anyone the final price, but the garage was never sold. And Jake never worked again. He and Maya paid off the house, took long trips, bought a quiet cabin in the mountains. But every so often, Jake would think about that car, the one he nearly gave away, and wonder if there were more secrets still hidden under that rusted frame.